to Cooking with the IAMLA. With the arrival of fall, many of us begin craving comfort food. So today we're going to be preparing a dish that epitomizes comfort, melanzane alla parmigiana, or eggplant parmigiana. But before we get started, let's examine the origins of this iconic dish.
When traveling to Italy for the first time, many people are surprised to discover that the dishes they have long identified as Italian are nowhere to be found. You won't see garlic bread or Caesar salads on menus, and if you order a pepperoni pizza, you'll likely get a pizza topped with peppers, unless, of course, you find yourself at a restaurant that caters to tourists. You may have also heard that Alfredo sauce doesn't exist in Italy, and meatballs served on top of spaghetti, although quintessentially Italian-American, will not be found on the same plate in the Bel Paese. There are, however, certain dishes that span the continental, cultural, and culinary divide, and melanzane alla parmigiana, or eggplant parmesan, is one of them. Many assume that eggplant parmigiana, like Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, originated in Parma, Italy. But this is incorrect. Eggplant Parmigiana was conceived not in Parma in Italy's north, but in the Mezzogiorno, or southern Italy. Eggplant, a vegetable native to Asia and India, has been cultivated since ancient times. It was revered as both a food and a medicine, used to treat ailments ranging from diabetes to asthma. And because of its blood-moving properties, many also considered eggplant an aphrodisiac. Eggplant was first introduced to southern Italy in the 9th century during the Arab conquest. Italians were originally leery of the funny-shaped vegetable and referred to it as the mela insana, which means unhealthy apple. The word for eggplant in modern Italian, melanzana, is derived from this term. So if eggplant parmigiana comes from southern Italy and not from Parma, how did the dish get its name? There are a number of different theories. One explanation claims that when the Arabs introduced eggplant to Sicily, they referred to it by the old Persian word baranjan, which if you listen closely, kind of sounds like parmigiana. The Sicilians, meanwhile, referred to Persians as parmigiana. It is believed that parmigiana could be a corruption of these words. There are other equally as intriguing explanations, however. During the 15th and 16th centuries, recipes in which vegetables were layered with other ingredients were known as the parmigiani style of cooking. Some also believe that parmigiana comes from the Sicilian word damigiana, which refers to the wicker sleeves that were wrapped around glass bottles and casserole dishes for protection and easy transport. Still another explanation claims that parmigiana is a variation of the Sicilian word palmigiana, which means shutters. The layered slices of fried eggplant were said to resemble the shutters seen on the ornate facades of Sicilian buildings. The early preparations of eggplant parmigiana were quite different from what we identify with the dish today. The oldest remaining recipe comes from a cookbook published in the 1700s by Neapolitan chef Vincenzo Corrado. It describes a preparation in which eggplant is seasoned with butter, herbs, and spices, including cinnamon, then baked with a sauce of cream, eggs, and sheep's milk cheese. This early recipe produced a dish that more closely resembles the Balkan Middle Eastern specialty moussaka. That's in part because tomatoes, first introduced to Italy in the year 1548, did not become a widely accepted part of the Italian diet until the 1800s. It was around this time that eggplant parmesan preparations came to include tomato sauce. Southern Italy's famous mozzarella was also incorporated into the dish, along with sheep's milk cheeses such as pecorino. Parmigiano, which by then was widely traded in Italy, was also used. Eggplant Parmigiana experienced yet another makeover when it arrived in the United States, and for this we can thank Italian immigrants. Between 1876 and 1914, over 14 million people departed from Italy. Approximately 75% came from the country's impoverished south. Eggplant Parmigiana exemplifies cucina povera, the rustic cuisine of rural Italy that is made from inexpensive ingredients and prepared and consumed by people of limited means. As Italian immigrants achieved financial success in their adopted homeland and their purchasing power increased, their diets also changed. Whereas Italian peasants consumed meat only on the most special occasions, and even foods such as pasta and cheese were considered luxuries, once in America, Italian immigrants could afford larger quantities of foods that had previously been out of reach. This newfound prosperity also led to an increase in portion sizes. Dishes like eggplant parmigiana came to be served alongside pasta and was prepared more decadently than ever. In response to the wider availability of meat and the tastes of American consumers, Italian-American chefs gave birth to versions of the dish that do not exist in Italy, including chicken parmesan and veal parmesan. Placed on a sandwich roll, the dish also became portable and served as a perfect meal for the many Italian immigrants working in the nation's mines and mills.
The recipe that we're going to be preparing today is a cross between the eggplant parmigiana that you find in Italy and what is common in the United States. When I make eggplant parmigiana, I typically prepare a lot of it. It freezes and reheats well, and it's even better the following day. This recipe can easily be modified depending on how much you'd like to make, but make a lot of it because it's going to be a hit and you're going to want to have extra to share.
When shopping for ingredients, make sure to select eggplant that has shiny, taut skin. The eggplant should be firm. Its exterior should not be wrinkled or blemished. These are signs that the eggplant is past its prime. To make this dish, you can use most any variety of eggplant, from your standard Italian eggplant or what is known as graffiti or Sicilian eggplant, or even white eggplant. You don't need to peel the eggplant. Eggplant skin is packed with wonderful antioxidants, and it really provides body to the dish. After washing the eggplant, slice off the stem using a sharp knife. Cut the eggplant into 1/4 inch thick rounds. Or, if you prefer, you can slice the eggplant into long strips. Cut off a piece from the bottom of the eggplant so that you have a stable base, and slice the eggplant lengthwise. If you have a mandolin, it's a handy tool for this step. After slicing the eggplant, lay out a couple clean kitchen towels or paper towels and arrange the eggplant slices on the towels in a single layer so that they do not overlap. Sprinkle kosher or coarse salt on the eggplant and let it sit for at least 30 minutes and up to 1 hour. You'll notice that the eggplant will start to sweat. The salt helps draw out the eggplant's bitter juices. Now what you're going to do is take another towel, brush off the excess salt, and lightly press the eggplant to remove any excess moisture. The next step is to prepare 2 bowls. In the first bowl, place about a cup of flour. You can also add some plain breadcrumbs for additional texture. Add some freshly ground black pepper and some dried herbs, but don't add more salt. There will be plenty of salt remaining from the sweating process. In a second bowl, crack 2 eggs and add a little bit of milk to thin them out. Whisk together the milk and the eggs. Dredge each slice of eggplant in the flour, shaking off the excess. Then dip it in the egg mixture and in the flour again. You don't want a super thick batter. We just want to lightly coat the eggplant.
Many recipes will instruct you to deep fry the eggplant. If you're feeling decadent, go for it.
What you'll need is about 1.5 cups of oil, a heavy bottom pot, and a pair of tongs. Heat the oil to about 375 degrees and fry the eggplant a few pieces at a time until golden. Now, if deep frying doesn't appeal to you, we're going to demonstrate 3 alternatives. First option, You can pan fry the eggplant using just a little bit of oil, cooking it a couple minutes on each side until it's golden brown. Second option, if you'd like to prepare a lighter version of the dish, place the breaded eggplant on a greased cookie sheet and bake it for about 40 minutes, turning the eggplant halfway through to allow both sides to brown. If you are looking to create an even lighter version of the recipe, or perhaps a gluten-free or vegan version, you can simply grill or bake the eggplant as it is without breading it. Whatever method you choose, you do need to par-cook the eggplant before assembling the dish. Here you have our 4 versions of eggplant: deep-fried, pan-fried, baked, and grilled. Now it's time to assemble the parmigiana. Whatever method you chose for preparing the eggplant, the assembly of the dish is the same.
For this recipe, you're going to need about 6 cups of prepared tomato sauce.
This homemade sauce has a base of garlic, onions, red chili, and olive oil. For our sauce, we use Di Napoli tomatoes, which are organically grown in California. These tomatoes are hand-selected and packed within hours of harvest. They are sweet, full of flavor, and make for a rich, delicious sauce. And if you don't have time to prepare sauce from scratch, Di Napoli also makes a fantastic ready-to-use sauce. You'll ladle about 1.5 cups of tomato sauce into a baking dish. Then arrange the slices of eggplant in a single layer at the bottom of the dish. Top the eggplant with thinly sliced mozzarella, a sprinkling of Parmigiano or Pecorino cheese, and then add another layer of eggplant, another layer of cheese, and enough sauce to cover the eggplant. Continue this process to create a third layer. Top with a little cheese and more sauce, then place in a 400-degree oven and bake for 35 to 45 minutes or until the center of the dish is bubbly and melty. Allow the dish to set for about 20 minutes before serving.
That's it! Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to like and share this post and subscribe to the IAMLA's YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of the content that we're preparing for you. Ciao! Buon appetito!